Survive or thrive in the locksmith business. You know, right now we live in a time, as all of us know, that has a lot of rapid cost changes on the high end. And when we translate that into the businesses that we run, I really wanted to sit down with Chris and my dad here, the Lockfather, and talk about what that looks like in the real world, in the real locksmithing businesses. So, Chris, thanks for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
Dad?
Yep, thanks.
And so I just want to kind of state the obvious here. Over the past year or so, have you seen your prices go up as far as all your costs?
Yeah, cost of living's obviously gone up. You know, milk, eggs, gas, everything's gone up lately.
Okay.
You know, on the locksmith side of things, oh yeah, manufacturers are changing prices. Everyone's making more money. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're making more money. It just costs more.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, as someone who, keeps getting letters from manufacturers with price updates, I mean, I've never seen anything like it in the 18 years.
Well, we had a big bump in the beginning of this year, I believe. We had some manufacturers that, had to do some price increasing.
Absolutely. I mean, I was always really used to a 3, maybe an aggressive 5% a year. And then next thing you know, 10, 12, is normal.
It takes you back a little bit.
It does. Right. And the other weird part is they don't want us to put too many orders in advance. There's kind of this, they kind of set it up to where you can get a little in, but you can't really stock up.
Right. Just enough to kind of keep the water running,
Yeah. And really because there's really nothing to stock up on, right? Because
a lot of stuff's out on boats right now.
Yeah. Stuff's out on boats. And so when this comes to your locksmithing businesses, we all have customers that we deal with and talk with on a normal basis, right? Kind of the backbone of our business.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing that prices have went up in the past year
more
plus.
than once.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, more than once.
And I'm kind of curious on the approach that you both have taken in communicating with your customers in a way outside of just everything costs more. What do you expect? Right? That's not really a good tone.
A little bit more professional.
Yeah.
Also.
Right. So I'm kind of curious, Chris, I'll let you start of how have you been talking to your customers about it?
So I have a lot more clients that really have scheduled work with me. So it's not so much on the emergency. So there's not enough random people calling me asking those questions. So when I get customers that call me that I've had to update them on pricing, and sometimes if it's a big enough account, I'll even go and send them an email or I'll contact them and say, hey, just some information out there for you guys. How's everyone doing? We're looking at a 5 to 10 price increase based on this and this and this. And for the most part, they've all been pretty understanding because most of the businesses I deal with have also increased their prices. So in a roundabout way, we're all kind of just letting each other know, hey, we know it's obvious, but we're just informing each other. But you do get the people that call and they want to lock out, they want a rekey, they want a card key made, and they say, oh, well, last year you charged me X amount. And that's hard to just, like you said, you don't want to have any animosity towards them to say, this is just how it is now. It's, you let them know, unfortunately, things have changed in the last year. Prices have gone up, cost of business has gone up. If you own multiple locations, like your dad, I'm sure the rent has to go up eventually, insurance goes up, and most people understand that. There's very little pushback on that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, those are some great points.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it does go up. And, like Chris was saying, the increase of just doing business has gone up. Mm-hmm. And, some customers say, well, you sold me this lock for, $20. Mm-hmm. So, well, now that lock, unfortunately, is $28 because they had this huge increase. And they go, $28, to get all bent. I said, believe me, I try to keep it as low as I can, but remember, I got to pay my bills too.
Yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from, but I can't control it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, have you guys experienced any customers who decide that it's just too much and they're just going to figure out something different?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah. We see a lot of that more in the automotive and the lockout stuff, not so much in the commercial and the hardware and and residential installs and stuff. It kind of goes back a lot of times. You either get it, and I'm sure your dad's familiar with this term, you either get cheap, fast, or good. You don't get all three of them. You get to pick one. So it's you get customers that are like, hey, I'm locked out of my car. Okay, well, this is the cost. Oh, I got it done for half the amount last year. You can't really compete with a price that used to be around for a guy that may not be in business anymore.
Sure.
So you have to really, you have to let that person go sometimes. And your time's valuable, and what you rate it as is you have to consider that.
Yeah. And has it been hard, like on some of the calls, it's like, man, I could really actually use that call right now. It would be great.
Absolutely.
And that temptation
to start negotiating. And, I got a student discount.
Yeah.
Yes and no, but then again, when you start lowering the bar, you generally never stop lowering it. And if you have a position in the market where if your business is called cheap lockouts and you're not the cheapest guy, you need to rethink your business model.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. The same way that you can buy a $1 hamburger, no one's loyal to the place you buy a $1 hamburger from. You just want calories for $1.
Yeah.
So they're not coming to you for the value of your service and the professionalism, the customer service. They're coming for you to take advantage of the price.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So
it's a great point.
Yeah, and as Chris says, cheap, medium or expensive. Well, when you have multiple people work there, taxes go up. I mean, pay your employees, everything goes up. So you have to adjust them constantly, and people get upset, but I'm in a position where I don't need every job anymore.
Yeah.
But I still want every job.
Sure. Now, have you with the price increases going on, like have you noticed losing some normal customers?
No.
Where they're like, I got to call around. Like,
Yeah.
No, I haven't yet.
You haven't? Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Because, they understand.
Sure.
But again, everybody only has so much money they can spend to do what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I did have one big company say they could get the locks, $100 cheaper, through the mail.
Sure.
And I said, but no guarantee, huh? We guarantee them. You buy them from us, we guarantee them.
Yeah, there's warranty with that.
Yeah, there's warranty. And they go, oh, didn't think of that, because we're not going to run out and do it for nothing. We're going to charge you if you supply them.
Sure.
But you get both of those,
Yeah.
And I understand, but we explained that you get the service.
Mm-hmm.
The guarantee that we'll make sure they're working. If there's a problem, call us, we'll come running.
Absolutely. So, something that we've encountered that I'm curious how it's affected both of you is there's been so many price increases with so many different manufacturers that we deal with, like getting all of our prices updated and stuff. Like we've had to take some hits because everything was happening so fast, and then surcharges get put on and all of this other thing. Have you guys been able to keep up with it, or have you also been like, oh wow, like sales are kind of normal, but profits down a little bit because it like just rapidly kind of
it was a very XY, and it quickly went the opposite direction. Depending on what you're doing, if you do commercial, there's already a pretty healthy profit in commercial hardware. So if you are taking that 10% loss, 10, 15, 5, whatever it is, it's not killing you if the profit's still healthy. If you're going in and putting 10 panic bars in and you're losing $150, $200 on your profit line from that hardware upsell, it's not killing you. If you're doing the residential where the profit lines are razor thin, then yes, there's definitely some more work that needs to be done, whether it's upselling or trying different things and a different grade hardware, whatever. But in this last year, things have been well. It seems that most of us in this industry have done pretty well in this last year right now. But it's been a lot. There's been a lot of changes, and shipping costs have gone up, especially right there before the holiday season. So there's a big impact there. I'm sure you felt that.
Oh yeah.
So it's been a lot of rapid changes, and knowing how to either eat the loss with your clients if it's worth it, or if it's worth it to raise the prices based on the situations. All those things come into play.
Absolutely. Yep. Did you have anything to add?
Well, I noticed like on key blanks, they used to cost 80 cents. And now they're $1.80. And you go, wow, that's, $1. And you have to adjust your price. And even my people say, well, that's pretty expensive. And I said, if we're going to stock it, we have to make a profit off of it. And we have a lot of unusual keys, more than most.
Yep.
And, you know, you have to charge a lot more for those because you don't cut them every day. You cut them maybe twice a month or 3 times a month versus a quick set and a Schleg where you're cutting hundreds a day.
Yeah.
And, you know, and my guys, I said, well, no, that key's supposed to do that. Didn't you get the text I gave everybody? And they're supposed to put little labels, a sticker saying that it's gone up, and we change it in the computer.
Yeah.
But, you know, not everybody, all the guys out on the trucks don't always, they quote the old prices and they go, oh, I didn't see it went up. I said, well, you got to start checking before you start quoting.
Yeah.
Because some of it can be drastic. When you're selling, you know, 100 locks and 300 keys, it really makes a big difference, you know.
Absolutely.
Because of the volume, you usually don't get a better discount right now, where you used to get a discount. And then I usually try never to order unless I get free shipping.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because that just saved me everything.
Yeah. It's very true.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting out there. I mean, it's kind of like, I think all 3 of us have experienced the same thing, and I'm sure all of you who are watching and listening have just experienced that like rush of like rapid changing, and you're like, okay, how are we dealing with this? And you know, navigating those waters, and you know, like key blanks have been tough this past year to get.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
It's been a lot. It's been, you know, we've had to reconfigure how many we buy at a time to extend out the hopeful supply once it arrives.
Those miscuts are finding some secondary life, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then the more rare keys, the nickel silver keys. I mean, there's just been, you know, it's one of those things I'm guessing from the manufacturing level. It's like, if it's a lower run key, they have to make sure they're profiting on it as well, and the raw material price is going up.
Well, it used to be you were affected by general, you know, cost of living going up. You know, you're looking at standard increase 5-10% yearly, whatever it is. That's normal. Things cost more, gas costs more, everything costs more. But when you're getting it from both sides, you're in a rock and a hard place. The people that they're supplying your business and the people that are paying you are both, you know, feeling the squeeze.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And, you know, like we sell to a lot of apartment buildings, you know, new construction, and they say, okay, you give me your list, you looked at your price, you know, and then you get your bill and you see there's an 18% upcharge.
Yeah.
And you go, hey, I got to redo that. I can't do that. I take that 18% hit.
Yeah.
And I just don't make as much. But I try to first figure out. Now I try, because I did like 6 apartment buildings I sold.
Yeah.
And before prices, you know, they ask, and it's 6 months down the way, and before the price never changed.
Yeah.
And now you go, holy cow! Instead of making $10,000.
You're not buying hardware for a job 6 months down the road or anything. You're kind of just forecasting that.
Right. Yeah, forecasting. Yeah, that's a tricky situation.
Yeah,
to
and
manage.
the one company I deal with can be tough sometimes. You know, they do get irritated.
Yeah.
And you said, sorry, everything's going up, and they go, okay, but the next quote I give them is 18% higher.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, great. Hey, I thank you, both of you, for talking about this. You know, it's one of those interesting kind of the times topic, and I think it's good to just for us just to talk about it, and for everyone who is watching or listening to just kind of hear, you know, like what's going on, how are we dealing with it, and I thank both of you for coming on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks.
Always fun.
Absolutely. And for all of you watching, thank you. All 3 of us, I know, would love to hear your thoughts and questions in the comments below. And make sure that you include the hashtag Lockboss to automatically get entered in to win one of 5 free prizes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.